do this. Well, here we go. The end of the 4-day audience accelerator. And this is our 90-minute plus masterclass. We've got to say plus because we all know that I can go on and on and on. And there's so much that I've tried to cram into this evening. So we're going to go fast. Please make sure you've got notepad and pen at the ready. Make sure you're focused. Make sure you're in a room without distraction as best as possible. And I'm going to try and go through this as best as I can. A couple of things I just want to say. As best as you can, personalize what I'm saying. I'm going to go through a lot, and I want you to not just generalize what I'm saying because I want you to get the most out of this. So as I go through stuff, really think about, yeah, that's something maybe you've forgotten to do that you knew you should be doing, but you haven't been doing. Maybe there's stuff where you can like score yourself and think, right, you know what, I'm doing that, but I could do a bit more of that. So really personalize the content that I go through so that you leave this session tonight with some clear, specific stuff that you know you need to prioritize. And I'm just going to kind of pre-frame this evening a little bit, if you like, because for me, whenever I go on masterclasses and webinars and things like that, quite often people are trying to give you a special hack or a secret or the top tips and things like that. And I've got no issue with any of that. In actual fact, I'm, giving you tips and steps and things like that. However, what I've found quite often is when I see people talk about these tips and steps and stuff, a lot of it is like, some algorithm hack, how you can hack the algorithm and do something to go viral on social media. And again, I'm not against any of that stuff. As you all know, if you've been doing the 3-day challenge, I've given you some hacks to help you with the algorithm on social media. So it's not that there's an issue with any of that. But one thing that I will say is when I really get to meet the people who are making the most money, the people who have built the biggest businesses, they've not done so, most of them, just because of some algorithm hack. And when we have these conversations, if you like, behind closed doors, you find out what they've really been doing to grow their audience, expand their network, and make more money in the business. And it's that stuff that I'm going to share with you this evening based on not just what I've learned, but what I myself have been applying over this last year in particular. So it's the up-to-date stuff. Give me a hell yeah in the chat if that sounds like some good stuff, just to keep the engagement going so that I'm not just shouting at you and talking to myself. Yeah, we're seeing the yes, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so let's dive in. I want to start by saying a massive welcome to the training. Firstly, well done and thank you for joining this training today. And also for those of you who've taken part in the 3-day challenge this week, I totally get it. I know there's so much waffle online about how to build your business, and I've no doubt some of you have tried multiple methods before. Let me know if this applies to you. You've tried methods before, you haven't got the flipping results you expected, and then you've been left feeling deflated, maybe a bit skeptical, and without much hope that you can actually be the person who scales to those bigger numbers. I'm seeing loads of people say me definitely, and I completely get it and empathize. And I myself was that person for a lot of years building my business. And with that in mind, I really do appreciate you being here today. And my goal tonight is very simple. I want to help make things simple for you. I want to make things feel achievable. And I'm going to share simple and proven tips that can help you genuinely grow your audience, get more clients, and start making more money utilizing the exact methods that are personally working for me and my clients right now in this moment as we go into 2026. So for those who don't know me and you're like, who the bloody hell is this guy? This is just a super quick little slide to give you the overview, the brag fest. I'm a Guinness World Record breaker. I've been in business over 15 years building both what you would consider, I guess, a traditional bricks and mortar style business plus an online business. The fun bit is I was in an award-winning Take That tribute band for a long time within one of those businesses. We played to over 20,000 people at some of the gigs. We were called Brilliant by the real Gary Barlow himself. We were on the Graham Norton show. So that's been, and that business taught me so much about branding, personal branding, building an audience and all that kind of stuff. So as much as that sounds silly, learning from someone in a Take That tribute band, there were so many lessons learned through that experience. I also spent a year and a half on Channel 4's daytime show, Steph's Packed Lunch. Give me some woohoo if you remember or you know Steph's Packed Lunch. I was a lunchmate on that for 18 months. I also have a top charted Apple podcast. And just to be clear, we got to number 21 in the overall charts. A lot of people are like, I got to position number one in the business charts or the fitness or whatever categories, but we did it in the overall. We were ahead of Tony Robbins and Gary Vee that day, just so you know. I was a Brit finalist bodybuilding competitor. I spent 10 episodes on a reality dating TV show called Love Triangle. That's one for you, Jenna. I know you love your reality TV. I've got various qualifications, including qualifications in business strategy, practitioner in NLP, timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, and life coaching. And through my various programs and events, we've now helped literally thousands of business owners, and we currently have a fast-growing online membership called Success School with almost 250 members currently. And I say currently because tonight is the night, as I know lots of you are aware, we are reopening the doors for 2026 to invite some of you into the most incredible community ever. But I want to be clear, because quite often we hear people breaking world records and being in the top charts in Apple Podcasts and having a community with 250 people. I literally have nobody in my family that are in business. Nobody. My mum's a hairdresser. My dad was a firefighter. He's now retired. And when I say I made every mistake possible, I genuinely think I did, right? I hired the wrong people, had to let them go. I've had money stolen from me, like thousands of pounds, from multiple people I trusted and thought were my friends and colleagues. And I had years where we were struggling to even just break even, let alone make a profit. So I want you to know, basically, everything I teach is from years of screwing up, like learning how not to do business. That's the honest truth. This is coming up to 16 years this year. And it's only really been the last few years that I would say I've cracked it, as we say in Yorkshire. But I want you to know that background, because I think it can be disheartening quite often when you hear these rags to riches stories and it all seems to happen in 12 months and they just go from nothing to everything, zero to hero. That was not my journey, and I'm definitely still not a hero even today, but we keep plodding on. Okay, so what I want to say is I'm no more special to you, but these are some things, and I want you to make a note of this. When I do reflect on why, nearly 16 years later, I'm still here, the business I started 16 years ago is still trading. We still have offices and premises and staff, and it still makes a profit, and I have the success I have with my online businesses. Because of some of these core principles, I understand the power of networking. It's huge. I said it to those of you on day one of the 4-day experience. I said business is about people. It's about relationships. I value investing in getting help and not trying to do it alone, in building strong relationships and being around the right groups of people. Now, the last 12 months in particular, it's just gone a little bit bonkers. I've been getting mass attention and making more money than I've ever made in my life. And literally people just keep asking, Matt, I see you everywhere. Who is this Matt Hall? Where have you come from? Oh my God, I'm not even joking. My radiator has just started to come on. I can feel it. And I genuinely, Rebecca said beforehand, check the radiators off. There's a ghost. It's a ghost. Anyway, we're going to just move over here and keep on going. Jeez, it's hot. Anyway, people literally keep saying, where have you come from? And the honest answer is, been here a long time, but in the last 12 months, I've really doubled down on what is known as a visibility strategy, which is having multiple things that I've focused on to get super visible, build my network, get more known, and build my business. And that's what I'm going to be talking about tonight. So those of you that have been in the challenge, just a bit of a recap, what we've done over the previous 3 days. And for those who weren't here, just to let you know as well, first and foremost, what did we do? We got super clear and specific on our ideal client avatar. Once we got that nailed, we then went out hunting. Remember the FANS method that I talk about? And I said the F stands for finding these people. We found these types of people online. Remember, we connected with other people doing this challenge, but we also started doing personal outreach. Remember, the way I teach it is without the ick. We're not just jumping in DMs and trying to offer them, sell them the earth and all that kind of nonsense. We do things in a much more human way, and we do things in a way that's maybe takes a longer time, but it means that we're building better relationships long term. But with a special thing that we did this week is we utilized an AI agent that worked hand in hand with our very own Mattbot to start doing it for us, so we don't even have to do it ourselves. And then today, the final part of the challenge is we were pitching to 5 podcasts and or memberships to be a guest speaker in. Just let me know in the chat before, how do you find pitching to podcasts? Has anyone got any yeses? Has anyone got any promising potential podcasts? Give me a little bit of feedback in the chat. Nice one. David says, got a yes. Trey says, yes, baby. Tom says, yeah, man. Oh my gosh. Oh man, this is amazing. We're getting loads of people booked it. Yeah. Oh, fantastic. And I just want to say, well done. I know I said it last night, but out of all the free challenges and masterclasses, this has genuinely been one of my favorite. And the reason being number of things, but predominantly you lot, you've just been an awesome group of people. You've been so open-minded, so willing to do the work, so engaged, and it's been beautiful. So well done, everybody. But there's one thing that I always say, and that is the time we spend together is a complete waste of time. I'm a load of shit. Everything I teach you is shit and useless and pointless and a waste of everybody's time and energy. If you don't apply it, right? So the value of this is not just listening and taking notes. The value is, what are you going to do next? Tony Robbins says it best. He says, knowledge is not power. You know, we've all heard that phrase. Knowledge is power. Bollocks. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. The thing that gives it the power is what you do with the power. And I want us to set that really clear right now. The next steps beyond today. The key with all of this is consistency. So I'd love you now to just take a moment and make some notes about this. Let's make this interactive. Let's make this actually useful. I want you to set yourself some weekly targets based on the things we've done in these challenges. So, like, anybody can do a challenge over 3 days. Anybody can feel good when they're hyped and everybody's doing it and it's new. But what will really determine the success for you is not just doing it as a one-off challenge every January and singing along to Elton John and stuff like that. It's what you do week in, week out. So I want you to think about setting targets for these three things now. The first one is, how many new people are you going to add on social media every day or every week? Set yourself a target now. Remember, if you're utilizing the AI agent, if I can say it, AI agent, that is something that's going to be able to, the more you get used to it and start, working with it, it's going to be able to do that in the background daily. But you can still do it the manual way. You don't have to use it. So set yourself a target. How many each day or week? The second target is, how many new conversations are you going to have every day, every week? So remember, the personal outreach bit is finding the people, adding them, putting them in the spreadsheet. But the second part is, how many conversations are you going to have each day with potential ideal clients? And then the third one is, how many podcasts, memberships, masterminds are you going to pitch to each week? Because what I really want to encourage you all to do is just make this a standard weekly practice that you do, just a habit. So just make a note of that. How many people are you going to add? How many conversations are you going to have? How many pitches are you going to make each week? I'm just going to give you 20 seconds just for those. I can see people writing, which is amazing, just so that you all get some numbers. And I really would love you to commit to that after today. The success of what I teach is based on what you do next. I've always said I'm not a parent, but being a strategist and being a coach feels like how I imagine being a parent to be. You can have the best intentions, you can give them the best lessons and teach them everything and give them support and encouragement and big them up. But ultimately, as parents will know, the kid's going to do what the kid's going to do. And that bit's out of your hands. And I just want to make that point right now. Please, in order to make this whole thing successful, please make that commitment. What are you going to do weekly? All right, let's move on. So the next thing is, but how can we increase the probability to actually get onto those podcasts, to actually get a hell yes, I'd love you to speak in my membership. Yes, I'd love you to come and speak at my event. Because it's all well and good sending out these messages. It's all well and good doing the personal outreach, pitching. But how can we increase the chances of getting yeses more than we get nos? Would anybody like some help with that? Just again, let's keep this engaging. Let me know in the chat. Who wants some help positioning themselves so they're more likely to get some yeses? Fantastic. Appreciate the engagement. Get lots of yeses. Well, that's what we're going to cover for the rest of this evening. Truthfully, you've probably heard this phrase before. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And more accurately, it's who knows you. And you can very easily be like, well, it's not fair. They're just getting everything because everybody knows them and it's just not fair. Or You can say, well, what am I doing strategically to get more known, to make sure more people do know me? And tonight I'm going to take you through some of the exact steps to follow to start becoming one of the best known in your industry. I've got 8 steps. This is where you need to take notes super fast. I'm going to go through this as quick as I can. Step number 1 is building your personal brand. I'm sure you've all heard it. I'm sure many of you are doing it. But tonight I'm going to share some tips, to help you do it as well as you physically can. So I'd love to know in the chat, answer me this question. To you, what does personal branding mean? What is a personal brand? Just as quickly as you can, just write a few words. How would you describe a personal brand? Because I want you to get thinking about it. So people are saying it's you, me, specific identity, lifestyle, your business authenticity. Yeah, I think we're all on the right sort of lines. The face, the branding, recognizable, what I represent. Great. We're all on the right lines. I want you to think of the definition as simple as this. Your personal brand is what people think of you when your name comes up. And another way we can put that is your reputation. That's what a personal brand is, which effectively means everybody's building a personal brand. They just don't all intentionally build a personal brand. Some people have got a right reputation, right? And the kind of juxtaposition of this, or the irony, is we can't control what people say about us when our name comes up, what people say when we're not there. But what we can do is intentionally do a lot to influence it. And that's what we're going to think about now in this next section. But to be clear, personal branding is absolutely not a logo. It's not colors. It's not fonts. It's not necessarily aesthetics. It is clarity. It's about being consistent. And it's about building trust. If people can't explain what you do in one simple sentence, then your brand is not clear. And in online service-based businesses in particular, your face, your voice, and your story are the brand. And why it matters is people buy people before they buy a service or a product. And especially with higher ticket offers, that really requires real trust, not just information. So what a strong personal brand will do for you all is it shortens that trust building phase. It will make selling feel easier and more natural. When people already know you, like you, and trust you, you don't have to do the hard sell. People have already bought into you before you have a sales call. And long term, it creates the leverage for scaling and to be able to do one-to-many offers that are going to help you create semi-passive income and recurring revenue, which is one of the main things I help people do. And this is the big one. And this is something Rebecca and I are really focused on this week, is it's about using AI with humans. And it's about having an approach that is about humanity always. And the reality is, in a world of AI, your personal brand is all we have left. Think about it. As AI evolves, what we see online will be more and more fake stuff, more and more stuff that looks real but isn't real. So your personal brand really is your insurance against AI. Because in a world where everyone's starting to sound the same, look overly polished and all the rest of it, when people actually know you as a human being, you're going to be the one they trust. All the other stuff is going to become harder to trust. So my belief is right now, more than ever, anybody that's known me for years knows I've always spoke about personal branding, and I've been building one for literally nearly 2 decades now at this point. I've always banged on about it. And right now in this moment, I believe it is the most important it's ever been as a business owner to seriously take this serious and get good at it. So here's some core rules to remember about personal branding. You don't need to be the very best to have a personal brand. People think, oh, why would anyone listen to me? Why would anyone care? And they focus on getting more qualifications and doing more exams. You don't need to be the best. You just need to work towards becoming one of the best known. Remember, for one specific thing. Remember, simplicity scales, complexity fails. And confusion kills conversations. So think about, with your brand, with your offers, with what you speak about, you need to be specific, be niche, and don't have lots of different offers, because that confuses people and it makes people think, oh, I just won't bother. Now, remember this, brands are built both online and in person. And even if you're building an online business, I really want you to consider tonight, what is your strategy about being seen in person this year? Because especially again, as AI evolves, the way that we're going to really get people to know, like, and trust us is when they actually meet us in the real world, not just on a screen. It's really important to consider this. So these are just some key elements I'm going to go through. Some of you will already know this. Some of you will have already done this. Some of you won't have a clue. Wherever you're at, these are things I want you all to really think about tonight. You need to think about what your mission is, your mission statement and your vision statement. And to be clear, what's the difference? I want you to think of it like this. Your mission is, what do you help people achieve? When people work with you, when people come to you, what is your mission for them? So for me, I want to help people. When you come and work with me, I want to help you scale a business where you have semi-passive income, where you build an audience, you have recurring revenue, and you don't have to trade time for money. That is my mission whenever somebody invests in my brand. But the vision is, what will the business go on to be as a result of achieving its mission? Does this make sense? In other words, a simple way of putting it is, your mission is for the individual, your vision is for the business. And this will be very different from person to person. My vision might be, I want to be the best known strategist in Yorkshire. Or it might be the best known strategist with the biggest impact in the UK. Or it might be the world. Can you see how there are three entirely different visions? There's no right or wrong, but you need to know what that vision is, because it will impact the decisions you make and the kind of brand you're creating. Somebody who wants a world-known brand is going to think about that brand very differently to one who just wants a local brand to do well. Make sense? This is what I want you to really consider this evening. The next thing is brand language. When you show up online, when you show up in your content, when you send your emails and so on and so forth, what is the voice of this brand? Is it casual? Is it cool? Is it funny? Is it corporate? Is it serious? What is the language? What is the tone of your brand? Now, for me, people know, like, my language, there's a lot of swearing, actually, in it. It's very much like Yorkshire Northern humour. Now, that will be right for some, it won't be for others. But the thing is, it's clear and it's intentional. You know what you get with me. There's things in my language, like I'll often write things like flipping. I'm so flipping excited. Everyone will know that word is associated with me, or a lot of people will. I'll often put, I'm so excited, with loads of O's. Yeah? That's my brand language. I'm an excitable character. And it shows in the way that I speak and my language. So you want to think about that, almost to the point where if you received an email from the brand, you would know it with a brand even if you didn't see who it was from. So be intentional about the brand language. Then you've got your ethos and your values, your character issues. What you, this is things like, you know, do you value inclusivity? Do you value no excuses? We get shit done no matter what. Like, what are the things that your business values? What is the ethos? What is the characteristics? What is the traits? And this is the one that people don't like, but you've got to have opinions. Because if you want to sit on the fence, you're going to get splinters. If we're building a personal brand, we've got to stand for something. And equally, what do we stand against? And this is the bit people hate. And we're not saying you've just got to be obnoxious or be a knob. That's not what we're saying. But if you want to build a business and a brand where people love it, where people feel connected to it, where people rave about it, it's very hard to do that just being vanilla. Just sitting on the fence. People get excited about stuff when it's something that they really believe in and they really stand for. And in order to do that, they have to know what to believe in and what to stand for. And the final piece is, I want you to think about your story, and in particular, your origin story. Now, this is the bit that when you're building a personal brand, you're going to say it all the bloody time, and you're going to be sick to death of talking about it. Right? But you have to do this because, again, people buy from people they know, like, and trust, and they need to know, why are you doing what you're doing? Where do you come from? Why should I trust you? What's your background? So your story is the shit that you'll say on every podcast you ever go on, and you'll often get the question, so tell us a little bit about what brought you here, and you think, here we bloody go again, and I've got to say, I started my business at 19, I was a performer, I was in a tribute band, I had a big breakdown at 27, I broke up with my girlfriend, and I'm going to tell that story. And it's that thing of, I'm not even emotionally connected with that story anymore. I've said it that many times. But the point is, for our audience to connect with us, they need to know that stuff. They need to hear it. So you've got to get that dialed in and you've got to know what you're happy to share and what you're not. At the heart of it, personal branding is about building relationships. It's about getting as many people in your industry and as many people who are ideal clients to know you, to like you, and trust you. And like I said, this is both online and in person. Here's some tips when you're showing up online. This is the big stuff I really want you to take notes on, please. Documentation and naturalistic style posts are far more valuable than content creation. Let me be clear what I mean by that. I have Beth, who works with us in our social media team. She creates some freaking incredible, amazing, perfectly created social media. Now, by the way, we both know this. I'm not saying anything out of tone here. If I just flip the camera and have a rant without thinking about it, or I post something really vulnerable and authentic, that will always do way better than the stuff she spends hours creating for me every time. And again, bringing it back to the AI stuff, now it's becoming more and more easy to look like an expert, to look great, to look polished, right? To create content. And because of that, from a psychology standpoint, everybody looks great. Everybody looks brilliant. What is going to make you stand out? It's showing up in real time and documenting your life. It's naturalistic, honest kind of post. So what's working really well for me at the moment is just flipping the camera and doing a 90-second tops reel, giving my opinion on something. It's not overly edited. There's not loads of music on it. I've not got text coming up and going, phoo, phoo, phoo. Again, another example. I pay my trailer editor hundreds of pounds every week to do a trailer edit for my podcast. It's always one of the worst performing things that we do. So I want to be clear. You still want the professional content because it shows you're a serious brand. But the stuff that's going to perform best is the real stuff. The next thing is go live. And this is where everyone goes, ooh, I hate going live, Matt. Ooh, I don't like pressing that live button. It's awful. Do it. Because again, in a world where anybody can curate something and make it look well edited and spend hours making themselves look like an expert, do you know what will help people know you genuinely are? When you're able to just press live and talk without any script, unrehearsed, answer questions as they come up, and showcase that you actually know your stuff. It will build the trust and show that you're the real deal, not just great when you're perfectly scripted and edited. The next thing, attention is currency. You need to write this one down. Attention is currency. If you can't grab attention, it doesn't matter how good you are, nobody's going to see you. People's attention spans, we all know what it's like when you go on social media, you're scrolling through, and if it doesn't really grab you, you ain't going to watch. You might have the best piece of content in the world. If the first second or two isn't a really good hook, no one will know. So think about the hooks. Think about your subject lines in emails. Think about how can you collab with people that already have attention. Being a master of attention is really important. Now, we do need to see expert content as well that showcases what you know in your industry, and we need opinion-based content, as I've said there, so you can on the fence, we'll get you splinters. And a big one is we need to hear and be reminded of your story. So they're just some tips around personal branding. We're going to go to step 2 now, the power of proximity. I want you to write this down. Trust can be borrowed. It's a phrase that I heard Daniel Priestley speaking about, is borrowed trust. So when we talk about people buy from people that they know, they like, and they trust, I want you to think about who is people in your industry who do something similar or certainly have the same target audience as you, the same ideal clients, that are already a few steps ahead, that already have a bigger audience, that are already more known, more liked, and more trusted at this stage than you are. And the question very simply is, how can you collaborate? How can you work together? So let me know in the chat. Does anybody know who this lady is in the picture that I'm stood next to? Just let me know if you know who this person is. Does anybody not know? Just put no if you don't. By the way, for those watching on the replay, the chat is just going, yes, 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 Lisa Johnson, Lisa Johnson, Lisa Johnson. I think so far I've seen 2 no's. No idea. Okay, there's a few more no's coming in. So Lisa Johnson is a business strategist. She made over 22 million in the last 7 years, and she's been my mentor the last 6 months. Now, I first met Lisa about 4 years ago when I saw her speak at an event, and I thought she's great, and I invited her to come onto my podcast, and she said yes, which was lovely. We did a really good podcast episode. We got on really well. Fast forward, I then joined her membership. I ended up going on a retreat with her earlier last year, so on and so forth. I built a relationship with her. She's got a really big engaged audience. A lot of you know me. Let me know in the chat now, actually. This will be interesting. Who knows me here just because of Lisa, through Lisa shouting me out and Lisa mentioning me? Lots of yeses coming through now. Someone's drawing on me slides. There's always one. Every night I get one person. Please make sure it's not you. Please don't draw me slides. Love it. Yeah. A lot of people are saying they only know me because of Lisa. Here's the thing. I built a relationship with Lisa. We got to know each other. We got to understand each other's values, how each other works, to the point where Lisa is happy to tell people about me. And this is a true story. There's been multiple occasions where I'm thinking of one in particular where they reached out to Lisa and they were like, Lisa, I need a high energy male speaker that can speak on these topics. Who do you think? And she was like, you need Matt. And that person in question then messaged me and booked me to speak at their event without ever seeing anything I do or ever meeting me. Why? Because they trust Lisa. And if Lisa says, you need Matt, that's good enough because she's built an audience and built trust over the years. Now, again, can anybody tell me in the chat, who is Lisa being mentored by? Who's been Lisa's mentor the last, I think, year or so? Let us know if you know in the chat. Yeah. Lots of people saying Hormozi, Alex Hormozi. I'm sure lots of you will know. This is one of his books. Hormozi is a bit of a huge, massive deal. Think of it this way. Imagine if somebody says, hey, Alex Hormozi, I'm looking for a business strategist from the UK, and he says, you need Lisa Johnson. She'd be great for you. People are going to do it. Why? Because Alex Hormozi says that's who you need. So do you remember how I said earlier, people are all talking about the algorithm hacks and the steps and the tips and all this kind of stuff. This is what people are really doing. They're figuring out strategically who are the people that already have the attention. How can I take the time, you don't rush it, to genuinely get in their world? Build a genuine relationship where we actually get to know each other and then find ways to support each other, to collab with each other, to add value, to serve. If you can do that, that is the thing that's going to seriously help catapult you. One of the biggest things, I will just say this really openly, one of the biggest things that's helped me grow my audience this last year is Lisa helping me by just recommending me for stuff. It's that simple. So I want you to think about that. Who are the people that you can build relationships with? That if they get to really understand you, know you, like you, they'll start to recommend you to people and collaborate and so on. Step 3, moving on now. Hope you've all got that down. Step 3 is become an active member of networks, communities, and memberships that already exist. So be visible and be of service in other groups, communities, memberships where your ideal client is hanging out. And also be part of masterminds, communities, memberships, and retreats where your collaborators, potential affiliates, and peers hang out. Where you can learn from each other, you can support each other, you can collaborate on projects, and you can affiliate for each other's launches. Again, Lisa won't mind me sharing. She has some of the biggest launches in the UK. I think the biggest, actually. And one of the she always does a few £1 million every launch. A lot of that money is made up by having really good affiliates. Other people that talk about it, spread the word, share it in exchange for a commission. Where do you get these affiliates from? You get around communities with other business owners, with other people launching stuff. And you get to know them, you build relationships, and you work together. Now, the thing is, don't just join these communities and these groups and these memberships. Join in the conversations. If there's live calls, show up to the live calls. Be somebody who proactively asks questions. Answer questions in the groups if you can help. And just genuinely, just be a good flipping human being who genuinely tries to help others. So be of service. For example, you might be in a group with loads of business people and someone goes, hey, does anyone know a good financial advisor? You might not be a financial advisor, but you might know a good one. So put them in touch. This is a technique. This is literally a method that people are using that is very quickly getting them to be seen as a good person of service that then people turn to, that they know they can trust and they want to work with. And what I will say here, and I want to say, I know this bit sounds a bit harsh and some of you might not like to hear it, but again, everything I share is just based on my honest experience with the people I work with, the people I've met, the experiences that I've had. If you just only ever do the free shit, you're going to really, really struggle to seriously build a business. I know that sounds harsh, and I also completely respect and understand we're all in different positions and not everybody's got loads of cash to throw at stuff, and I get that and I respect that. But what I need to say is if you only ever do the free stuff, it attracts freebie seekers and you're around people with a freebie mindset. The people who genuinely move forward are around people, the reality is, that are a different caliber. When you invest and you get around good retreats, good masterminds, and so on and so forth, that's when you get around other people that are investing. And that's where doors start to be opened. You may have heard the phrase, success leaves clues. So you can be offended and upset about it, or you can recognize, look, these are some clues that we can take from people who've had success. So you can either find an excuse or you can find a way. And the other thing about being in these communities and getting around these groups, does anyone else feel like this? Let me know in the chat. Does anyone feel as an entrepreneur like you're a bit of a weirdo, a bit of an outsider, that people don't really understand you? Does anyone feel it's a bit lonely sometimes? Being an entrepreneur, being a business owner? Yes. I mean, now the chat is going off. And I get it. And although I'm having a bit of fun and saying, oh, we're weirdos and all the rest of it, it is really serious. If you're only ever around people, whether that be local friends, whether it be family, even though they might love you to pieces and it might be well-meaning, if they're just not entrepreneurial and not ambitious in that way, it's going to be really, really hard for you to achieve your goals. Because on some level, their beliefs, their values, their approach to life rubs off on us, and it gets hard doing it alone. So being focused on getting around support, accountability, getting around the other action takers is super important. And just make it a daily task. Reply to threads, join conversations. You could set aside just 15 minutes a day. Check the groups you've joined, see what conversations are happening, get involved, be active. And I really want to make that clear. Some of you on this call right now will be serial course buyers and membership subscribers. What I call a shelf developer. You're developing your shelf with lots of books, resources, and information, but not developing yourself because you're not utilizing the stuff. Get in the groups and communities, but most importantly, prioritize being an active member in those communities. And I just want to say collaboration is key. Some of you here will know this guy on the left, my good friend Ross Grant. He has a business called Act on This TV. He's been a good friend for many, many years. About 4 years ago now, I think it was, he asked me to collaborate with him, and we did a course together. That course not only made tens of thousands of pounds, and I got a percent of that, obviously, but guess what happened at the end of the course? We basically sold that course solely to his audience. It was a course we created for his audience. We sold it to his audience. People paid. People loved it. What happened at the end? People were like, I quite like that, Matt. I wonder what else he does. And I know for a fact there's people that did that course 4 years ago that are on this call right now that still invest in being in my membership, that have worked with me one-to-one and so on. In fact, let me know anybody, if you're happy to admit, anybody that were on that course 4 years ago that are still here. Yeah, Andrew said, yep. Caroline said, exactly, that's why I came to know you. Jen says me. Gary says, yep. Penny says me. Laura says it was great. That's 4 years ago. And they're still here tonight investing in being with me and being in my membership. One solid collaboration with the right person can completely change your business. So I want you to look, who are the people that already have a good, solid audience? Find ways to add value, find ways to serve. If, like I did with Lisa, I invested in working with her as a mentor, but as a result, we've ended up collaborating on projects and so on. So really think about collaboration. Step 4. This completely changed my life. Basically, last year, I set myself a goal last January that every single month that year, I was going to make it a priority to attend at least one in-person networking event. I was literally building a business online, and I thought, I don't do networking because I found it all a bit icky and I didn't really like it. And I decided, no, I need to get in the rooms. And I honestly believe now, and by the way, I smashed that goal. I ended up some months going to 7 or 8 within 1 month. And again, this has been one of the biggest things that honestly have changed my business this last year. Because again, with AI and all that kind of stuff, there's no substitute for building relationships in person. How did I meet Rebecca Whitney, who's with us all this evening? In LA at a business retreat that I paid to go to. How did I meet Jenna Farmer, who's going to be here with us later this evening? At an event in London. So the real relationships are built when you make the investment, the time, the energy, and you make the effort to get into the rooms. So I'd love you to consider making that a real serious part of your strategy this year. If you want to truly expand your network, if you want to really grow your audience, get more known, get more trusted, and build that personal brand, there's no substitute for having real conversations in person. And following on from that, step 5, you really need to get on the stages at these events if you want to build an audience at the highest level. I think out of, when we look at ROI, return on investment, one of the strongest ones comes from being on stages. Again, this is something I doubled down in 2025. I was on lots of stages last year. And at the end of this month, I'm going to be on my biggest stage to date. And that is Expert Empires, where I'll be speaking alongside people like Fern Cotton and Eddie Abu. This can change your business. Again, getting on the stages. So I really want you to take some time at some point to look at that and go, what are the stages I want to be speaking on? And get a list together. Again, you can use AI to help you with this. More on that later. And step 6. This is a controversial one. This is where people go, no, I don't agree with this, don't like this. But again, I'm just sharing what I know to be true. We call it pay to play. What this means is spending money to get places. And people are like, oh, you shouldn't have to do that. It's not fair. It's not right. Well, look, the world's not fair. The world's definitely not bloody right. We can moan about it, or we can work with it. And this is one thing that I will say. Again, I'm sorry if I'm a bit harsh this evening, but I hope you understand. I only say it because I genuinely care, and I'm just sharing what I know. What has happened over the last decade or so with social media and with the advancements of the internet is it has never been easier for anyone and everyone to start a business and start making money with little to no investment. Would we agree? Like if you go back 20, 30 years ago, you just knew, like you wouldn't dream of starting a business without investing. You might have to invest in, getting some premises or having staff or marketing or being on billboards or being in magazines. Like you knew a few decades ago, if you wanted to be a business owner, it required investment and you might need to get business loans and so on. Now, the real upside to the advancement of the internet is you don't have to have loads and loads of money to start. Anybody can start now. The downside, in my opinion, is we're breeding entitled business owners. People who post a few times on social media, they don't go viral and they say, it's not fair, life's shit. And then you say, well, why don't you pay to sponsor? I ain't got money to sponsor. I shouldn't be doing that. Please don't be that person. If you're serious about business, act like a serious business person. You need a marketing budget. And if you don't have one, you need to strategically figure out how to get a marketing budget. When we talk about pay to play, we're just talking about marketing. And here's some ways you can do it. You could sponsor a podcast, sponsor an event that has your target audience as a listener or an attendee. It can be a great way to get seen. You can pay to speak on stages, believe it or not. Not all stages, but some of them. And again, just see it for what it is. If there's stages with big people on there, like Daniel Priestley at my event and so on, you don't have the same pedigree, potentially, some of you might, of Daniel Priestley. You don't have the same audience. You don't have the same experience. You're not at the same level. So to be stood alongside him on a stage, at that level, might be a worthwhile investment for your business. You might want to pay for an influential person in your space to shout you out on their social media or send an email to their email list. Again, we spoke earlier about affiliate commissions. Get other people to sell your stuff in exchange for a good commission, not 2%. Don't be like, hey, you spent years building an incredible engaged audience that know, like, and trust you. Will you flog my shit for me? And I'll give you 2%. Like, give them, where possible, a good amount of commission to make it worth their while. So you might be giving them 30%, 40%, 50% where possible, if it's viable. And then the final one here is paying for ads. Social media ads, Google ads, things like this. Again, those who've built the biggest audiences, the biggest brands that are the most known, they've done an element of this. And I want to be clear, I'm not expecting everybody's in a stage to just now invest £20,000. I'm not expecting everybody to go and get massive loans. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to do tonight, folks, is just give you the truth. And then you can be strategic about this. You can break this down and you can figure out what you need to be prioritizing moving forward. Now, without further ado, we go to step number 7. And I am not an expert at PR, but I do know one. I do happen to know one. So I'm now going to hand us over just a second. I am absolutely over the moon. We are joined by, and I'm privileged to be joined by, the one, the only, Jenna Farmer, who is a PR expert, who's now just going to whiz in and give you some quick fire, succinct tips. Jenna, welcome to the masterclass, and over to you. Are you unmuted, by the way? I don't think I can hear you.
Oh.
There you are. Jenna, welcome.
Thank you. Can you see my slides and everything? Because I still can't see you. Yeah, we all good? Okay, I know I'm on a 15-minute timer, so I'm just going to get started straight away. Hi, everyone. I'm Jenna, and I'm going to be teaching you in the next 15 minutes or so how you can get PR without waiting lots of time, without faffing around. Let's just get to it right now. I'm going to be showing you 5 really simple things that you can do to get your business in the media right now. Obviously, this week has all been about visibility. So if you want to connect with me afterwards, I have put my social media handles on there. I'm on Instagram at Jenna Farmer PR. So please do tag me in anything you share. And I've also got a Facebook group. Now, I am really, really passionate about PR because for me, PR really changed my life. And I'm just going to spend like 1 minute telling you my story, and then I'll get straight into all of those quick wins and tips. About 12 years ago, was living abroad and I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And any of us with chronic illnesses will know how hard it is and how isolating it is. And obviously being abroad in a country that I couldn't speak the language was like double hard. So I started to talk about this online. And when I came back to the UK a few years later, I wrote an article, like a blog post on my phone on the way to an operation. And when I woke up from the anaesthetic, it got picked up by the media. It got a bit viral. And that PR opportunity like massively changed my life. It got me a very low paid job at first, but a very low paid job writing for Metro. I decided to leave my job in teaching and go all in on it and get all of these media opportunities that I was being given. And I started to become that person known for talking about Crohn's disease and chronic illness. And this led to so many opportunities. I was being profiled in like the Guardian business section. My blog was profiled. I got a book deal and I just really went for it. And PR absolutely changed my life. It gave me so many opportunities that I didn't think I would have. I'd always wanted to work in the media, but not being from London, not being middle class, it felt really impossible to me. But I started to realize that if you've got really great stories, journalists are ready to listen to them. And I just really went for it and built this life for myself. And now I help people do the same. And I'm so grateful that I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people get in the media. And I've seen firsthand how it has changed their life and changed their business too. Now, I won't spend too long saying why PR is good for your business because you probably already know. It's doing all of the stuff that Matt has been talking about. We know that it will help grow your social media, and actually PR and social are really closely linked. We know, I've had one client that was in the Times and in 24 hours, she got 3,000 new Instagram followers. It's a massive push towards your socials. We know that getting links from publications will drive traffic, thousands of people visiting from publications. But it can also be evergreen. So why are you going to get those instant hits? What I love about it and what we don't get with other sorts of social media is that it can be evergreen. I have someone that worked with me and she still gets most of her clients from one article in The Independent, and that article is 5 years old, but it's really, anytime anyone Googles anything, it's top ranking. So it can actually bring in leads to your business literally years after the PR coverage. And we also know that when we get links to our website from these publications, it really helps with SEO and Google. And I won't go down that rabbit hole, but if you want to get seen on Google and SEO, PR will really help with that as well. So I'm just going to give you 5 things that you need to do, because I am conscious I've only got 15 minutes. I could give you a lot more, but let's just give you 5 things that you can do right now. And the biggest one actually is that we really need to reframe PR. I think so many people go into PR thinking about what's in it for them. And I've told you already what's in it for you, and you probably already know. But we can't think about that. It's all about what you can help a journalist with. So you need to take yourself out of that mindset of selling yourself. The journalist is not your ideal client. We're not selling ourselves. We're not hoping the journalist will buy from us. We are offering value to the publication's audience, which then might be your ideal client. So it's not just about what can I get out of this, but what can you offer the journalist? And to just be really blunt, I always have these 2 questions in the back of my mind, whether I'm working with someone one-to-one or someone asks me a question. And I think don't send the email if you can't answer these questions. The first one is, why should they care? So you have to really think, why should anyone care about what you want to say? Now, that is not to say what you've got to say isn't brilliant, but I'm just going to show you in a second how we can make journalists care. It's not about like shoehorning and just trying to like flatter journalists, go out for a drink with them, like suck up to them on social media. It's about actually figuring out what they want. Then you can get in those places like Forbes and Business Insider. You don't need to have loads of contacts. You just need to have what they want. And then, of course, what is in it for them? So rather than pitching them and saying, oh my God, I'd love to be in Forbes, I'd love to be in Business Insider, this is what's in it for you. I've got an exclusive. I've got some really great insight. This is perfect for your demographic. At the end of the day, journalists need articles. They need a lot of articles in this online space. So actually, compared to when I was starting many years ago, obviously so much more content is being published. So they need more content than ever before, and they need content that gets traffic. So we have to think about, what can we do? What can we say? What value can we add that is going to get read by people or listened to on podcasts? Now, again, there is so many tips I could give you, but the easiest thing you can actually do is to take the big thing that you do and break it down into smaller specific topics. If we take someone like Matt, obviously he does like visibility in business, but let's break that down into smaller specific topics. Maybe he could just talk about in the media about like specific strategies to speak on stages and how to get started, rather than talking about every single thing that he does. So this is what journalists really love at the moment. They love things that solve a specific problem or take us from A to B. So if you're a nutritionist, I don't need you to tell me everything about nutrition. Tell me one thing that I can do in the morning that is going to give me more energy, or one thing that I can do before bed that's going to get me a better night's sleep. Think about things that you do that you can break down into ways that are accessible, affordable, and don't take much time. So for example, if you're a personal trainer, give me a 5-minute routine that I can do as soon as I wake up. I don't need any equipment. It's not going to take me much time, but it's going to give me more energy. So try and remove all the barriers that you have around what you do. And I know sometimes that can feel weird. Like if you're an anxiety specialist, I know you can't solve anxiety in 5 minutes, but just take it really niche and break it down into one specific thing. Maybe you could just help me with public speaking anxiety and give me like a 1-minute exercise to do before I go on stage. Break it down into those smaller things, because we've got such short attention spans. This is what journalists really want. If it's something that is unusual or different and that can make a real difference, that is always a no-brainer as well. So journalists are really bored of the same advice over and over again. I had 2 clients in Forbes this week, and the topic was really simple. It was just wellness trends of 2026. But my client's advice was really different and unusual, trends that we hadn't heard of, different approaches to wellness. And that is what will really make a difference. So here's some examples of what this actually looks like in terms of headlines. Hopefully you can see these are all really good examples of things that are specific, solve a problem in some way, and are niche down. So if we take the Forbes one at the top, like 5 ChatGPT prompts to negotiate your next pay rise. So obviously careers is such a big topic. We broke it down to pay rises, and then we've niched down even further to just ChatGPT prompts. The one underneath is one that I placed last week, and it's just a perfect example of what I said. The 5 cheap Botox-free ways I reverse time as a 60-year-old with no wrinkles. I took a specific problem and solved it. I've stressed that it's cheap. It's Botox-free, so it's really accessible. And so I'm giving them a really specific solution in a really quick way. And that is such like a headline that people are going to click. People are curious. They want to know the answers to this. I also love the stylist one at the bottom as well. This is a really good example for like business people. It explains the problem, like not being able to decide your career move. It gives it a specific method, like a specific name. And journalists love things like acronyms, trends, specific methods of doing things, and that it will solve a problem in 3 days. So hopefully you can see what all of these things have in common. They're not massive topics. We broke it down into simple things and we're solving a problem. So all of these are adding value to the reader. And all of these are going to get read because of that. And that's what the journalist wants. If you want more examples, have a look at what journalists are writing. So if you want to be in Stylist, start reading Stylist. If you want to be in Forbes, start reading Forbes. But you can also use the hashtag journo request on Twitter or Blue Sky, and you will see loads of journalists saying, I need an expert on this. I need an example of this. And you'll start to see what I mean by these like specific problem solving things. That's probably the easiest way to get into the media if you're an expert, especially if you're a service-based business. Okay, hopefully I'm doing okay for time. Number 3 then is to find your hook. And this is really important, not just for the journalists, but I think also for podcasts as well. Another question to have in the back of your mind is, why is now the best time to tell this story? So why didn't we just tell it 6 months ago? Or why don't we just wait another 6 months? And have that in your back of your mind, because at the end of the day, we need to prove that this is relevant right now. Ways you can show this. The first way that you can show it is linking to a news story. So a really quick thing you could do right now while you're listening to me, if you haven't already, I recognize some names, so you might have already done it, is to go to google.com/alerts and type in topics around what you do. So for example, I could see Natalie on the call and she's a brain expert and I do the PR for her. Now, I'm not going to type in brain because I'm going to get so many alerts. I'm going to break it down into like concussion and stroke. And that is going to give me an alert every time concussion and strokes are in the media. And that means that I'm going to get an alert and I can reach out to a journalist and say, hi, this is a breaking news story. I've got an expert, or I can offer X, Y, Z. And that's what we did when Princess Anne fell off a horse. I got the alert and then I emailed all the journalists and Natalie gave some really interesting advice about what to do if you fall off your horse. So link to a news story, link to an awareness day. It could just be the time of the year. So, for example, January is a really good example of timely things. But we've got things, you know, like Valentine's Day, Veganry, Mother's Day, all of those different things. Awareness days for conditions just gives it a little bit more of an interest. But also the social proof, like if you do a TikTok or Instagram and it goes viral, that shows the journalists that this idea is already spreading. So it's probably going to spread in an article form as well. There are journalists whose job is just to scroll TikTok and turn it into articles. So if you've got social proof that people are in the comments, people are debating, people are sharing it, absolutely include that in your articles. But if you are an expert and you see something going viral, maybe you are a nutritionist and you see this one trend that actually is really dangerous, journalists love you saying, look, this is super topical right now. Here's my different take on it. So again, what does this look like on the page? So some examples of like topical stories. The top one is from this week. It's just a 2026 one. So we're going to see a lot of these in January. January is a great time for so many people to get PR because pretty much the whole media coverage at the moment is about new you, development, goals, change, and that links to so much what all of us do. You've got an example on the right of a TikTok trend. So this was a TikTok marriage trend of using made-up words. I laugh because a lot of them are ridiculous, to be honest, but you know, this is what is trending on social media, so we go with it. And you can see things like on the top left-hand corner, 39% of neurodivergent people feel they can't speak to their boss about the challenges they're facing at work. So that was a news study, a survey that, again, was a topical thing. But you've also got more general topical things. I feel like, for example, money is always topical. We're all talking about money all of the time. Things like ADHD and autism are always part of the media. So I'm not saying you have to wait for these hooks. Sometimes the hook can be, we are talking about this so much more right now than we did a year ago. That can be a hook in itself. Okay, so I've talked to you first of all about finding a story, really thinking about the value, breaking down those topics and finding a hook. I also want you not to discount just shouting about the stuff that you're doing. The best time to get media coverage for anything is when it is new. I always get a bit frustrated if someone comes to me and said, like, can you get PR for my book? It's like a couple of years old. And I think, oh, it'd be so much easier if we did this at the beginning. So sometimes that in itself can be your story. If you've just won an award, if you've just expanded, if you've got a franchise that's opened in new areas, if you've written a book, if you've done anything of note, maybe you're doing stuff in the local area, you're holding a local event, you're partnering with a local charity, those sorts of specific news stories. So rather than like, let me tell you about my personal life, this is a specific news story about you doing something new. Then it's really straightforward to reach out to your local paper and your local radio and just tell them about it. So the new thing can be the story in itself. And it doesn't have to be complicated. I'm all about just trying to give you some really quick things to do. So I've just put 2 tips at the bottom for you to do this. The first one is I recommend a website called Your World. And this is probably the easiest way that you can connect with your local paper. You'll have a look when you log on and create an account. And what you will do is you'll like build your story. So you'll write your headline, you add your pictures, you write your information, and then you can then select your local publication from a drop-down menu and send them your story. Now, not a guarantee that it'll get published, but it's a really simple way to get started. If you can't find your local publication, the easiest thing to do is to type into Google, send us your story and then your location. So like send us your story Birmingham or send us your story Warwickshire. And a lot of the time it will bring up relevant publications who have a portal. So these portals mean that you just upload your story and then you check back. So if like emailing feels a little bit too much, this is something you can do without having to have contact with a human. And I know sometimes we can really overthink emails. So this can be like a really simple stepping stone instead. If you are feeling a bit more confident, radio is always a really great place to start if you've got a local angle. They have so much time to cover on a local radio. If you think of how much time they have to cover being 24 hours, they are always looking for stories. And if you have got that local link, you're doing something in your local community, even if you've just got like a local customer base, it's quite simple to reach out to your radio. And actually it's quite similar to the podcast that we've talked about. Most BBC radio sites will have a contact there for you to share the news with their producer. So that's something really simple that you can do. Again, I would just do the same thing like BBC Radio West Midlands, send us your story or email, and it will take you to a page that lets you know how to reach out about your story. So don't discount the local. It's a really great way to talk about things going on in your local area. It's a really great way to talk about news stories. Take those stories that are actually about you. Don't feel like we have to always do the dramatic stuff. Actually, sometimes the PR can be about us and what we're doing. We got so much press coverage for Matt's event in so many different publications by just reaching out and saying it's this great event. We've got some amazing speakers. We emailed again when we got the headliner Levi Roots, and then really championing the North and so on. So don't be afraid to really shout about the stuff that you're shouting about on social media in your local press. Now, before I get on to step 5, just some really simple tips on sending an email. I'd love to give you a whole breakdown, but I just don't have the time. So when you're sending an email, make sure you spell out these things. And actually, this will really help you if you've not done the podcast task yet. I was having a quick look at the podcast task that Matt set you, because I think podcast pitching is something that a lot of people struggle with. And I think they miss out some of the stuff that I've talked about today. So some of the stuff that I've talked about today also really applies to podcasts. And if you can nail these like 6 questions and implement them whenever you're pitching PR, whenever you're pitching journalists and podcasts, you'll honestly be better than 90% of people that are sending emails. It will really save you time, and it will really help the journalist know instantly. So the first thing you have to do when you send an email to a journalist or a podcast host is to spell out who you are in a factual way. So you want to get rid of all that sales stuff. You know, if I was going to talk about Matt, I would go in and talk about his achievements. So we can absolutely big ourselves up factually, but we don't need the sales language and the copywriting and all the adjectives. We just go straight in and saying, like, you know, host of this really popular podcast, Guinness World Record holder, holder of the business events, and so on. So let them know in just a few sentences, like who you are, your biggest achievements factually. Then let us know why you're emailing. So be really specific here. Why are you reaching out to them? What value are you going to be offering? What is your specific idea? Now, the biggest thing that a lot of people miss out is number 4. And they do this with podcasts as well. They don't actually say why this is relevant to the publication or the podcast audience. And that goes back to what I said right at the start. Why should anyone care about this? What is in it for them? So if I was going to pitch to Stylist, I might say something like, look, I know Stylist has an audience of 30 plus women that are really career driven. So I think my conversations and my article about getting a promotion is going to be really relevant. I know you talked about it in this article last week, and I'm going to put a link, but I've got a different take on it. If I'm going to pitch a podcast, again, I'm going to talk about that podcast audience. I might reference a previous episode, show them that you understand the publication or the podcast that you're pitching to and the audience, and that you're making their lives easier. You're giving the audience something that they want. Why now is the best time to tell this story? So that goes back to the hook. With podcasts as well, think about, why is this topical? Why do people need to know about it? And the last thing that a lot of people don't do is let the journalist or podcast host know how we can find out more. So it sounds really obvious, but if you want to be on a podcast, you need to show them examples of you speaking, either by a podcast you've been on or even just your Instagram or speaking in another capacity. If you want to pitch a business article, link them an article you've already written to show examples of your writing. Make it easier for the journalist to see that you're the right person. If you've not written an article, you could send them a blog post. You could send them a LinkedIn. It doesn't matter. It's just all that tangible evidence to make it really easy for the journalist. Put your social media handles. Journalists, podcast hosts, they want to see your audience. They want to see your expertise. Your social media is the easiest way to show that. So I think after you finish the email, this is where you can find out more. Here's an example of my writing. Here's an example of me on a podcast. Really tell the journalist specifically how they can find out about you. Okay, the last one then. So let me just end with a few quick wins, because I really want to make sure that I give you some really quick things to take away. So I've talked about how you can take your big topic and narrow it down. I've talked about setting a Google alert, and I've talked about coming up with some timely hooks. I've talked about thinking about a really simple way to email and reach out. And I've talked about local news. There's just a few things that you could screenshot and commit to do in the next week that will take you 3 steps further in getting in the press. The first one is a website called The Competition Platform. This is one of my favorite websites. It connects you with magazines to run giveaways. So if you want to run a giveaway for your product or service in somewhere like Women's Health or a different publication, health, parenting publications, it's a really helpful website. It's really easy to navigate. When you go on the website, you'll see how to reach out to them and you'll see how the process works. There's a couple of business publications that have portals and that allows you to like upload an article. So if maybe you've created a blog post and you're thinking, actually, maybe I could do a bit more with this rather than just upload it to my blog. Why don't I try and upload it to a website? Then you could try these two websites. So they're Workplace Wellbeing Pro and HR News. Again, it's not guaranteed you'll be published, but they have a portal that is really straightforward and it walks you through how to submit an article. So those can be good places to start. And the last one, I think people always feel like Forbes is out of reach, Business Insider is out of reach, but honestly, nothing is out of reach if you've got a great story. There are Forbes contributors on LinkedIn, on Instagram that post call outs and say, I need this, I need that. You just need to follow them and connect with them and learn. So those are two of my favorite, Jodie Cook and Alicia Jaffa, who are both featured people in my membership and my clients. Really great people to follow. So that's just a really simple thing you can do to just take the step to connect with a journalist tonight without having to send an email. Okay, hopefully I stuck to time.
Woo! Jenna! Can we give a massive round of applause for Jenna? That was absolute fire. I love how you've just given us literal things we can do right now. And there was stuff I didn't know there, Jenna, by the way. I didn't know about the alerts or anything, but that's probably because I just pay you to do it for me. But Jenna, thank you so much. Does everyone just want to move their body for a second?
No,
if you just want to shake your body, because I know it's a long night. We've just got a few more golden nuggets to give you, so let's just give it a big stretch. Move your body. Jenna Farmer, thank you so much. Please, everybody go connect with Jenna after this. Jenna, what is your Instagram handle?
I'll put it in the chat, but it's at Jenna Farmer PR.
At Jenna Farmer PR. And just so you know, if you are thinking about joining the Success School membership, which of course you are, or if you're already a member, next month, Jenna is doing an in-depth, full masterclass on PR as well as Q&A. So if you want to speak directly with Jenna and ask questions and so on, Jenna is there to serve you next month, coming up very soon. I'm super excited. Jenna, thank you so much. So we're down to the final step 8, to help you get more known, to help you grow your audience bigger, faster and easier. It's going to be around utilizing AI. Now, what an exciting 4 days it's been. You are already familiar with this absolute legend, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome Rebecca Whitney back to the Zoom stage. Rebecca, over to you and a massive welcome.
Thank you for having me. It has just been the best week. And Jenna, that was chock full of gold, things I didn't know. And I did PR for a bit, very small bit. So I am going to share my screen and then we'll get started. So let me know when you can see. AI first thinking is what you should have up on screen.
Got it.
Awesome. I think I just did something. Okay. Well, this week has just been amazing. For those who've been in the challenge this week, I have watched you be present, be excited, sometimes a little bit overwhelmed, and fighting through it was the best part. Watching people say, I'm not a quitter. Like, I'm not going to quit. This is something I'm going to figure out. And so I know it was a lot. Today is going to be a bit of an overview, and I'm really excited to walk through this. You'll hear me, if you follow me, watch me on socials, hear me even talk to Matt in any way. You'll often hear me say something about AI first thinking. And I just moved my slides. And so AI first thinking. And when I talk about AI first thinking, what I am talking about is a lot of like what we did this week. And it was really interesting. If you look back and you're like, what was that? Or if you weren't in the challenge this week and you're like, what on earth did they do? And Matt alluded to it a little bit, but I thought I would give you a really quick overview of the magic that we did, right? So we took something, and most of you, I'm not able to see the chat directly right now, but I'll see it later. Let me know in the chat if it was the first time you'd seen that agent button in your chat GPT, if it was the first time you'd really had an idea of what an AI agent was. Just let me know. I'd love to see the responses to that. There was so much where somebody would say, oh, I thought I knew, but then this was totally different, or this was bigger. And so we were able to take that amazing information that we had within the MatBot agent, and then we had you do something. Remember, I reminded you all, you are on the leading edge of this. We had you go and then work with an agent in ChatGPT, and then it worked through that long bit. Right now, for some of you, I know that the long bit, it took a while, right? You iterated, or you gave feedback, or maybe you got stuck in a loop and things like that. But in the end, your best version of that experience is what you can improve on from now on. So if you went from my first time, it took maybe an hour. And now you're like, oh man, but in the end, I got it faster and it's down to 20 minutes. Or I went from 2 contacts that were great to all 10 were amazing. Like that's the bit you're going to be able to now repeat because of some of these results that you had. And I can't say enough how amazing it is. And then you took it even a step further and you experienced the ability to have a tracker that was output. And that was designed based on something that Matt has used in his business for years and knows that it works. And so we were able to take all of that and put it together, create kind of this magical experience for the most part, that if nothing else, you saw how it worked. Even if you went with option 3, or maybe you didn't quite get through this yet, whatever version of this that you did, it was just really important that we showed you AI is not just something to go in and do content in. And the best AI is actually not that it's just magic. It is because the real gold was MattBot. And I want to explain this a little bit because this has a little bit to do with the community. We were able with MattBot to leap forward. All your friends who are using ChatGPT or Claude and they're doing their thing. The thing they're missing is that with MattBot, you have the frameworks, the aligned community. We know the challenges you're going to have, right? We're seeing the questions on the Q&As. We're able to give MattBot information he needs to help you get unstuck when it's not Matt you're talking to directly. And then the coaching that Matt obviously gives and being able to have that loop. Having that in MattBot made whatever you did in order to create your ideal client profile or to get that agent, it made it at least 10 times better, maybe more. And then the rest of it was just saying, okay, now that you have this very well worded prompt or this general guidance on how to find your ideal clients, the rest of it is just the gold that is AI that you were able to experience. And I really wanted to just point out that my favorite part was watching how many of you, the people did this naturally, went back to MattBot when you didn't get the right people, and you went back and you were like, hey, that wasn't right. And MattBot, I saw several said, okay, try this one. And that iteration and feedback loop. So this week was all about creating that magic, showing you what it's like to be able to lean into AI, especially the smarter the AI is for the situation that you're working within. So really excited to have you all there. But before we go on, I know you know me a little bit, but who am I? So I teach AI fluency for business leaders like you who want real scale. So I'm focused on helping people feel more comfortable, confident with AI and AI fluency. I've been in data, tech, and systems. I always joke way before when we had to do it the really hard way, and it wasn't nearly as easy. So it makes me understand how these things work a little bit differently, and hopefully sometimes help people understand them who wouldn't consider themselves techie. And by the way, after this week, I hope I don't hear that from any of you, because you are now officially techie if you were sticking with us this week. I helped a business grow from 12 million to 100 million in 4 years, got to ring the NASDAQ bell, and I was part of a team that built a patented AI healthcare tool in 2018. So just before it really became something that was mass available, as we saw with ChatGPT. You can find me on all the socials that I care to be on at the exact same handle. And I know it's hard to say and it's hard to remember. RebWe9, first 3 my first name, first 3 my last name, and the number 9. That is anywhere you want to look me up. If I am there, please connect with me. I would love to continue the conversation and share more about AI. So now that you've seen something of what's possible, and for a lot of you, my favorite blew my mind. We broke the internet and blew minds. That's what I got from this week's feedback. So what else is really possible? What can AI do? And especially around the types of businesses and the type of work that Matt encourages us to do in building our online businesses, right? Especially in that category. So I'm going to share a couple of things of what is possible. You don't need to read the text. I have an amazing, I have an agent and a task combo set up that every week I get a list of the networking events based on what I have put into my AI that says, I'm looking for events that are local to this particular area. I'm looking for events that have these types of ideal clients. You get to use your ideal client profile again. Keep that. That is something you're going to use over and over again with AI. I've asked it to look for events that are both paid and free. I've asked it to look for events where it felt like I would have a chance to actually connect with people that wouldn't just be a presentation. If you were to see the prompt, it's a bit lengthy, but what it's done by honing that is every week I get this list of 10 to 15 networking events in my area that I should consider. And it's digging up new ones all the time, things I wouldn't have known about. And it's amazing because then I can go in, I can be more prepared because I know what to expect. I can go in, I can make these connections locally. And then often, you know, what happens in live networking, right? You're not only you connecting, but you're hearing about something else that's available or an event that's coming up. And so I love that aspect. And then, of course, for me right now, I seem to be living between two continents right now, and I love it. I also I've set one up for the UK. So when I'm there at the end of this month, I have something looking for other events that I might be able to participate in while I'm there. So these can be adjusted for, to Matt's point earlier, if you're just in your local city, great. If you're looking for something broader, your country, your nation, great. If you want something global, those are all very possible with these types of setups. So this is something that AI can do. And I like to talk about AI first, humanity always. And the reason for that is, for me, using AI isn't about, it's never for me about like, especially like taking away roles, or it's always about elevating the magic within us. It's always about helping us get to that place where we can be our best, brightest, and most connected people, humans. And this is one of the ways I use it to do just that. So the next one, and again, the slides are there to help guide, but most people don't recognize, I wish I could see all of the people in the room right now. And I would ask, who loves setting up nurture campaigns or emails in their system, marketing emails in their system? Who loves it? There's somebody in the crowd that loves it. For the most part, it can be somewhat of a frustrating experience. And so with AI, we're actually able to, and I'm going to go just a little techie for just a second, but imagine that Matt had told me the best possible thing that I could do was set up a 5 email sequence that goes to anybody who has downloaded my lead magnet. And maybe Matt has even given me some examples that I can easily convert to my own. And that is just in a document, right? That's a Google Doc or a Word doc. I can take that, and with AI, I can ask it to log into my system. Keep in mind all you've learned this week, right? Stack these things up. I can ask it to log into my system and actually set up that sequence in my system for me. And I can tell you a couple things are going to be true. It's probably going to have less errors than if I did it myself or had my VA do it. It's probably going to be done over time faster than what I could do ever. And it's going to ask questions if it sees that something isn't quite correct. I've had it ask me like, hey, you seem to be missing a subject line on this email. Like, what do you want to add? And so when you think about that type of aha moments that you can have with AI of like, man, I remember talking to somebody about this, and she said she was in tears the night before. I'd spent 4 hours working on a workflow and then had accidentally left the screen and it saved none of it. And she was just devastated. And she's like, I just was so frustrated. Well, had she worked this way, it would have auto-saved along the way because it knows to do that. And it would have stopped before deploying anything to make sure she could still check it. And so that entire evening of 4 hours and the tears did not have to happen. And that's what, when I teach people about this, that's the type of like time I want to give you back and the frustration that I want to take away from you. So it also, if you take that step further, you think of the ways you can have it. Oh, if it can log in for me, can it optimize my email content? Can it tell me what's working best? Yes, it can do those things. And so when you start stacking these and thinking of AI first, you're thinking, I wonder if AI can do that. And the answer is often yes, or it will be soon, but here's something you can do in the meantime. And so I really encourage you to be thinking that way. Yes, I will. We've heard it. You've heard it. You know what to do. You know how to get out there. But yes, AI can help with all of this. So we provided a prompt yesterday that was not personalized. It was not in MattBot. It will be in MattBot, and he'll be able to fill it out for you to help with that. But not only can it help find podcasts and help, determine where are places you should potentially be pitching for speaking or being guest speaking in the community or on stages. But the thing I don't think people think about with AI is that it can also help you prepare. So think about how you talk to AI today about creating content. Well, imagine that you're going to go on Diary of a CEO. You've been called up to the big leagues, as an American saying would be, and you're called up to the big leagues. And well, how would you prepare for that, right? And so you can use AI to actually prep you for this. It can look at actual transcripts, or it can do things like, what are the questions? What is the way that I should go about answering when it's things I don't know, right? I think of all the ways I've thought about preparing in the past. I just want to come in and be really comfortable. But the one I want to put out there that is actually the one to be mind blowing is I'm working on an AI. Think of it like MattBot, but you would dial in and talk to him, and it's going to actually pretend like it's the situation that you need to be prepared for. So if it's a podcast interview, you've never done it before, it can actually say, okay, let's record a 20-minute podcast together, and it will act as a podcast interviewer for you. If you wanted to basically dial in and give the speech you were thinking, or the bullet points you were thinking of doing for the speech, it could give you feedback. And there's lots of tools to do this in other ways. So I just want you to be aware of the fact that don't just think about it in what we showed you this week. Think about your whole journey from maybe I've never spoken or guested before anywhere, all the way to I nailed that. And that's so great. And now I get to share it with my audience in other ways and continue to grow my reach and impact. It's a really powerful thing. So if you're thinking, this is the part that's hard for me, this is the part that's difficult, think, how could AI help with this? How can AI step in? Because I don't know about you, sometimes I prepare not at a time when I can call a friend or I can talk to a coworker. It is like we see with MattBot, it's at 9-10 o'clock at night when somebody's finally settled in and they're like, okay, now I want to focus on this. Or it's early in the morning for the people who have those 5 a.m. rituals that I don't understand, but I very much admire. So whatever side of the clock you're on, AI is giving you that 24/7 access to something. And within, and by knowing what Matt's frameworks are, and guests like myself and Jenna and other people, when you're engaging with the AI provided within those communities, 10x again, at least, right? You're getting feedback that's actually based on what you've been learning in the frameworks. Everybody wants it. Less email. We want to not all these things that we've sent out as you gain popularity or your business scales or whatever version of the busyness factor comes in. One of the key things, besides the main one of I'd like to talk to more people and get more leads in, then eventually it becomes either for my company or for me or for my team, I would just really love to spend less time in email. I've been rereading the 4-Hour Workweek the last few weeks, and he's like, I spend 30 minutes twice a week in email. And I'm like, that is a dream. Like we create the reality, right? We decide how long we're going to give something or how we're going to manage something. And so it is possible to have things like an intelligent email responder, meaning that they can, if you use, Gmail or Google Suite, it can read the incoming mail, suggest how it would respond, and then leave that in your drafts for you or your VA to actually do something with. So this might be something that maybe it doesn't provide something right away that you could use, but think of that being in your inbox for when somebody is sending in the inquiry initially. Could it give a better version of something than what your typical kind of templated sales letter would be? Thinking when you talk to MattBot's thinking, what's the context of this situation? What's the best response that I can give? And you could put the power of that into your systems anywhere that they're talking to customers. There's more, but I don't want to overwhelm you. I wanted to inspire you. I wanted you to be inspired to think about AI first, to have a yes and philosophy. And here's the reason why. 80% of businesses, this is a recent stat, June of last year, 80% of businesses are implementing AI, and 80% of those, based on this survey, 80% of those that were surveyed and said they were doing it hadn't seen financial or any efficiency benefit. And that just, number one, blows my mind. Number two, it makes me frustrated because there's so many ways to do AI right and to think about AI differently. And Matt asked on the podcast, if you haven't heard the podcast that we released today, one of the questions, he's like, why do you think that is? And it's a couple of things. And I think the two things to take away for this group is they're thinking tools instead of systems. And they're thinking about, oh, I'm just going to buy this tool and I'm going to buy this tool and I'm going to buy this tool. And they're not thinking about the system of your business. Always be thinking about the system of your business. You learned a new system of your business this week, a lead generation system. That's what you built this week. And it's amazing. There's so many companies that don't have that. It becomes a system when you repeat it and you actually have, what do I do next? What do I have to have next? But you've built that cornerstone. And the other part of it is, and it comes back to the Mattbot and the community conversation, I think a lot of them are buying and implementing these tools without really understanding what it is that they need as their particular type of business. So what you're doing is a different type of business than most of the business, not most of the businesses, but other businesses out there. So being online, trying to get online presence, trying to be in front of people, trying to get the publicity and the audience growth that we know that we need to be impactful as Matt has been in our lives, that takes a special version of this type of outreach. And I don't think they're personalizing that either. So those are just my takes on this stat. But don't be this 80%. Be the 20% that is just smashing it. And smashing it doesn't mean going and doing everything tomorrow. It means learning something, implementing it, learning from it, and then saying, okay, what's next? What can I do next? So between Matt and I, as we've discussed AI and how to bring it to you all as an audience, and I've been so excited watching you all take this in. It's been about time saving and how do we help increase your visibility and impact? And we know that's just a piece of this work, right? How do we increase your productivity so you can have that human magic happening more out in the world? And that is all based on the more that we can put in that helps you with AI that is around the community and around the coaching and around the frameworks that Matt has, the better that is going to be for you all as you grow in your AI first approach. So whatever tool, there's lots of tools out there that do lots of things, but we are going to continue bringing and building things to the community that we know you need and have been specially tuned typically for the type of work that you will want to do with it. So coming soon to Success School. I just sounded like Matt for just a quick second there. I heard it. Spending too much time together. We are bringing some of these into Success School. So in February, we're going to be focused on helping you take what was that one prompt and actually build that in a way that it helps you research events and podcasts and the memberships that you should be pitching to. And it gives you that scheduled list and will help you figure out how to put that in place so that it can be for you personally. So you know what you're looking for and can hone it and really learn how to build that out. So we're going to definitely be bringing that in February. In March, we're going to have an advanced social media creation tool. I know a lot of you are using social media through using AI for social media. I still promise I will blow your mind as I did this week. It will be a different version than you have been using so far for at least 98% of you. And it's going to help you. You can have even up to daily content using, again, the frameworks and coaching and styles that Matt recommends, but then married to your ideal client and how you want to be on social media and then your voice. April, we're bringing in AI agents and marketing automation. I said how to take the eck out of tech, which is my new phrase I think I'm going to bring to the world. We all want tech to just run, and AI agents actually help you do that. And this week on the spectrum, we saw all sides of it. Some people were able to just get in and get it to run. I promise, stick with us. The more you spend with us, the time you spend, the better you'll feel there. And then we're looking at May to some integrated tools to bring this even more together for you. So we continue to work on what is the way that we can bring the frameworks and help you all. Again, if we have the system working so that you can be doing the magic, being in front of your audience, helping coach people, helping improve their lives, bringing whatever brilliance you have to the world, that's a win for us. And a bonus, I will be teaching a full masterclass live in the membership as well, soon upcoming. And so I would love to see you in there. I know that AI added with the community and the consistency of showing up is going to be one of the biggest game changers you can have in your business. So with that, I am going to stop my share and Back to you, Matt.
I'm just so excited. Rebecca, thank you so much. Can we give a massive round of applause? Rebecca this week has given so much. I know she's been in there answering questions. She's even jumped on calls with people. Like, you have just gone above and beyond for everybody. And can I just remind you all that this has been a completely free 4-day experience? I just want to say as well, thank you, Rebecca. That was amazing.
Of course.
And I'm just so excited about the next steps with this. I want to say to everybody on this call right now, thank you from the bottom of my heart, everybody that's been with us this week. Whether you remember, whether you're going to choose to continue with us after tonight, I really, really hope it's opened your eyes. I hope it's made you see the potential. I hope you've genuinely learned stuff that has been useful, and that you will, like I said earlier, I'm shit. This is all shit if you don't do something with it next. So whether that's with us or not, I really, really encourage you to move this forward. Now, of course, we've got some prizes to give away. So I just want to remind you, you need to be live on the call to win these prizes. Just a reminder, there's a full power hour session with me. There's a full year's subscription into Success School for free. And there's also a VIP ticket to my 2-day business event, Business Mastery Live in Leeds, that's going to be won on this call right now. We have put all the names that qualify to win these 3 prizes into one of those fancy things that I'm going to share with you now. We're going to give away right now, this second, on the call, the prize of a full year. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I've pressed wrong button. Bloody hell, come back. Right, they're still in there. We're safe. We're going to give away the full annual membership, the full subscription. If you're not part of Success School right now and you'd like to join us, this is where you might win an entire year for free. If you're already a member and you're already paying us, this is where it's your lucky day. You're going to get it for an entire year. Drum roll, please. Everybody do your drum rolls. What do I do here? What do I press? Hang on, it's because I'm... do I just press that? Let's go. Woo, it's doing it. Who's won a year in Success School? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? It's Laura Robson. Now, is Laura here? Because if Laura isn't here, we go again. We go again. Laura, if you're there, if you'd like to unmute and let us know, have you won the prize? And if you're not here, rules are rules. We will spin again. Now, put it in the chat if you can't unmute, by the way. I don't want you to... Jenna says, Matt, you should present a game show. I feel like Laura's not here. I'm hoping... Can someone ring her and tell her to join quick? No, you're going to... If you don't say in the chat you're here, in 3, in 2, in 1... we get to go again, which means everybody's got a chance to win again. Right, here we go. Rules are rules, folks. Here we go. We're going to press it again. Drum roll, please. Who has won a year in Success School? It's Kaylee Marley. Absolutely brilliant. Kaylee, are you there? Let us know in the chat or unmute and just say, Matt, I'm here. And you are the winner of a full year in Success School. Right, let me just do this so I can see properly on the chat. Kaylee, tell me you're here. I'm in my bed. She's here, everybody. Kaylee, congratulations. You've won a full year worth 420 quid for the entire year. Now, we've got another 2 prizes to give away. Before that, though, thank you, everybody. I do just want to share the opportunity. This is the exciting part. We are reopening for 2026 the doors right now. If you're not already a member, this is your chance to join us tonight before we close the doors, all right? So you need to get acting fast because tonight we're reopening the doors for the 2026 intake of our membership Success School. In a nutshell, everything we've covered tonight, this membership is focusing on giving you exactly that. Everything you need to build those relationships, grow that audience, expand your network, and start making more money in your business. We basically have an awesome community now of almost 250 people in there who are making progress and achieving epic things right now. Just going to take a couple of minutes. I know this is the part where people go, oh, bollocks, he's selling to us now. I'm going to leave. Please do stay with us. Just hear a little bit about this. I just want you to know what we're doing, be informed. And if you have loved this 4 days, we would love to welcome you into the community. The community is about to get bigger. It's about to have even more value and more opportunity than ever before. And obviously, it includes AI, as Rebecca has just shared. So how does it work? Let me be clear. In a nutshell, everything I've said you need to be doing in order to build your personal brand, grow your email list and your social media following, and make more money is all here for you under one roof. I said to you, you need to get a part of memberships, masterminds, you need to attend networking in-person events, and you need to build relationships with potential collaborators and affiliates, as well as becoming connected to other people who have their own podcasts, events, and opportunities that can open doors for you. And that is exactly what this membership has. It's part membership, part mastermind, part in-person networking events, part master classes, and it's part now AI tools and AI resources. These are the 4 things you get every month. We do implementation and accountability sessions. Now, I think this is pretty unique because a lot of memberships you join, all they do is just teach you shit, teach you stuff, lots of learning. When, as we know, it's not the lessons that's the value, it's implementing it. So once every month, we do a session that are implementation style. Forget the learning and the making lots of notes. These sessions are where we come together, and they're designed to help you condense what you're learning and actually put it into action. You don't need another course, another strategy. You need to implement the stuff you already bloody know. And that's what we do every single month in the membership. We also have a live Q&A coaching session with me. Every single month, you have the opportunity to jump on Zoom, not just learn from me and what I'm doing in my businesses, but ask me specific questions around what you need to have help with, so I can give you my personal bespoke guidance and advice. Now, a lot of you know I charge quite premium to work with me one-to-one, and I'm not actually working with people one-to-one anymore. I've closed the doors. But if you're in the membership, every single month, if you join that Q&A, that is an opportunity for you to ask me specific questions, obviously in a group environment, but there will be time for you to ask those questions. Now, you've met Jenna and Rebecca. These are 2 of the guest experts that are going to be joining us for some guest expert masterclasses, but they're just 2 of many incredible people. Each month, I bring you the best of the best. I'll be introducing you to some big names in the online business world that are experts in their fields, and will deliver sessions on a variety of subjects, including things like social media strategy, email marketing, sales, mindset, and more. There will also be an opportunity to do Q&A with these people, so you actually speak to them and begin building relationships with them. So if you want to get to know Jenna better, you want to get to know Rebecca better, and all the other people I bring, this is the opportunity where you unmute, you come on camera, and you actually get to speak to them. And again, this is something a little bit different. Every month we do a group mastermind style session. This is where you get to really connect with the rest of this community. This is where you get to help each other and know each other. So every month you will also get to attend a live mastermind session in which the community comes together and adds value to each other. Everyone is offered the opportunity to share one piece of value they believe the rest of the community will benefit from knowing right now, as well as sharing a challenge that you're having in your business that you would like some help on. So basically every month you get the opportunity to come on camera and say, hey, everyone, I'm struggling. I don't know. Does anybody know the answer to this? Does anyone have a contact? Does anyone know an event I can go to? Every month you get the opportunity, and the whole community gets to say, yes, this is something I've just done in my business, actually. Let me put you in touch. Every month. There's also a private WhatsApp and Facebook group. We have weekly accountability check-ins to keep you on track. And there's also a group where you can connect, support each other, and ask questions. And they are literally opportunities every Saturday where you're given an opportunity to sell your offers. So as this membership now grows and this community grows, there's going to be more and more people in there that go, oh, actually, I like that. I might buy from you. So there's literally opportunities to make money from being in this community. And now, as Rebecca's just spoken about, we're utilizing AI within the membership to truly help you in a way like never before. If you've loved Mapbot, this week, you've had a little bit of a test. That version that you've been using is going to stop now. But if you join us in the membership, you will get 24 hours, 7-day a week access to use Mapbot anytime, any day, as long as you remember. Plus, as Rebecca shared just then, Mapbot's going to be evolving every single month to incorporate more and more of these done-for-you style resources that will help you grow your audience, build your business, and make more money in a way that is faster, but also easier than it's ever been possible to do before. And that is not all. One final thing, as if that wasn't enough. You'd think this were bloody thousands of pounds, wouldn't you? It's stupid, really. But throughout the year, all members are invited to in-person networking and social events that take place across the UK. The next one we've got coming up is going to be in London, and then we'll be doing another in the north of England. Just to be clear, these events will be at no extra cost. Okay, they're just included as part of your membership, and they give you the opportunity to join me, my team, and your fellow members in person in some swanky party style venues. Now, why do this? Because this is a chance to connect with people in real life, have proper conversations, build genuine relationships, and just basically have a little bit of fun along the way. Why? Because that's where the best collaboration opportunities are often going to be created. They're going to be in person, not online. And let's be honest, business should be fun as well. So just to be clear, those events, we have some fun, we play some games, and it's a great way to truly connect with each other when we do them. I want to be clear, you've got to get in now. This is your chance to get in if you're watching this live this second, because we only give you 2 opportunities to join us a year. So everyone can, the reason being is so that everyone can start an intake together as one group and be welcomed into the community properly. We only do 2 intakes, so one in January now and one in September every year. Now, just to be clear, we have our welcome Zoom happening this coming Sunday at 8 p.m. UK time, where there will be networking opportunities for you, where you can come on camera, you can speak, and there'll also be some coaching from me. And the other reason we only let you in twice a year, just being really bloody honest about it, because I could just lie, but the truth is we closed the cart because it forces you to take some bloody action, get involved, or totally miss out because the cart will close. So I want you to think about that. Where could you be with your business by September, with everything we're doing with AI and the community and the relationships we're building, if you join us tonight on this intake rather than waiting? Because things are going to move on a whole new level fast within this membership. So that's the truth. You've got an opportunity tonight, right now, and you'll have another in September. But I really encourage you to consider joining us right now. The doors are open. The cart is open. This is your chance. Nicola, if you could please make sure the link is there in the chat right now. This is the link you need to go to. I just want to be really clear. This is a subscription. It's £35 per month. That is including VAT. So if you have a VAT registered business, there's VAT included in that. Also, if you have a business, it's a tax deductible business expense, I believe, because you're investing in resources to help you grow your business. So it literally is ridiculous value. You're practically getting so much for next to nothing. We would love, honestly, we've got some of the best human beings, and there's so many incredible things that are happening within that community. There's so many opportunities. There's so many collaborations. We would genuinely love for you to join us. And I want to be clear. It's £35 a month. And you can cancel anytime. So if you join us tonight, it's 35 quid. If after a month you go, oh, it's bloody rubbish this, there's too much value, sick of all this value, Matt, bollocks to you, I'm leaving. You just leave and it won't charge you again. It's as simple as that. So the most you've got to risk with us after 4 epic days for nothing is 35 quid. We'd love you to join us. And if you want to save a little bit of money and get a couple of months for free, you can choose the annual option, which means you get the whole year for just one payment of £350, and that is billed annually. Now, again, if you cancel before the next payment, you won't be billed again. So just to be clear, we're doing something here where I know there's other memberships that are hundreds of pounds a week. I know there's courses that are thousands of pounds that don't give you this much opportunity. We're doing what I teach people to do, which is very much to make your offer a no-brainer. And I really hope tonight, after spending 4 days with us, you agree that this genuinely is filled with opportunity. If you're a serious business owner, really wanting to get visible, get more known, and expand your network. That's not all. We're throwing in some extra bonuses. You can also get our daily visibility tracker. Now, you can see a picture of that on the right-hand side. See, it says like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on the left-hand side, and it goes on beyond this picture. There's things you could do every single day as a bit of a checklist that are going to help you get visible. That is available inside the membership for you right this second. There's also a full 60-minute Spotlight Strategy Masterclass, which is my full visibility masterclass. There's a full money mindset masterclass. There's a how to launch your own membership 2-part series. And there's literally hundreds of hours worth of past content waiting for you right this second if you just sign up and come and join us. Now, we're going to do some Q&A. And we're also going to announce the final 2 winners of the prizes in just a couple of minutes. The link is there. If Nicola could just keep, please, dropping that in the chat. Anybody wants to sign up, this is your chance. Go to that link. Please do go and join it. Nicola, if you could just give me a thumbs up. I've just thought when I've reshared, I don't know if I've shared sound, but we've just got a short video now. Because rather than me just hyping on about how bloody amazing I am, I'd love you to hear from the people who actually pay us every month and what they have to say. So I'm just going to play you a short video. We'll do some Q&A. We'll announce the winners, and then we'll all bugger off to bed and watch the replay of the traitors in a second. Nicola, can you just check? This might not work, so I might just need a second. Just give us a thumbs up when I press play if you can hear it, or thumbs down if you can't.
What first attracted me to Success School was Matt's energy. When you're in a growth phase as a business owner, you just want to be where the energy is, and Matt has it by the bucketful.
So I primarily joined Success Business School for the community. I really wanted to be part of like-minded people, a community who understands the challenges of running a business, but also to be there to support and celebrate.
You can tell when you talk to Matt for the very first time that he cares about his clients and he cares about those people that he helps genuinely, and he's invested in their success. And that, I think, is the ultimate differentiating factor. And that bleeds into Success School, because the speakers that he gets on, the events that he lines up, the accountability sessions that have been recently introduced are all aligned in a way that support the community and have their best interest at heart. You can quickly tell when you join Success School that this is going to be of massive value for the price that you're paying. I think it's criminally undervalued for what you're actually getting. The amount of sessions, the amount of support, the community there is brilliant.
I absolutely love the community because everyone is so lovely. Matt Hall himself is absolutely lovely. I love everything that he talks about. He just simplifies business and it doesn't feel complicated. And I think through his advice within this community, I find running my own business much more easier and smoother.
It's such a supportive environment. There's a Facebook community and he keeps you constantly engaged in that, and then he's got this brilliant platform that you can access, and it's got all these courses in it, everything to do with self-development. There's so many things you can access, and there's replays in there with like really inspirational speakers that he talks with. No stone is unturned, basically.
He has a very, very good understanding of what it takes to succeed in business. He seems to understand business in a very methodical way.
Matt has a very natural style and is extremely personable and very knowledgeable, having been in business himself since he was 19.
There's just something to tap into all the time, and everybody's there with the same focus and the same common goal, that we're all on a journey to get better, to be better in our business lives, to get the freedom, the simplicity that we're all craving for.
So there's always people helping you and being your cheerleaders, and you can ask questions in there. We also have a WhatsApp group, which I find useful. It's not too much, so it's not like every day that it's pinging, which I like. Otherwise, I think it gets too overwhelming. And I like Matt. He's funny. He's very transparent about where he is with things, how he's got here. And I like that honesty and transparency.
I love the community aspect, I love the accountability, and the fact that I can ask my questions frequently. I love picking Matt's brains and making him make me think outside the box, and why am I doing that and what am I doing that for, and sort of giving me a really clear strategy, especially when it comes to visibility, and that's where I'm at the moment.
And it's a really practical space to give you tools, ideas and learning to keep you moving forward, with all the energy you need to keep that motivation and frequency up.
I won business awards. I now have following of tens of thousands of people across every single social media platform, and my business has just gone from strength to strength. It really, really has.
I've met so many nice, amazing, wonderful people in that community, some of which I have collaborated with. They have joined me on my little projects. I've joined them on theirs, and it's lovely. There's no competition, there's no hierarchy. What it's sort of the ethos is, we're all in it together, and we're going to drive forward together, and we clap for everyone until everyone succeeds. And that's pretty much the feeling that I get when I'm in the Success School. Thank you so much, Matt, and your team. If there's ever an issue, I know that you're just a little tap away and that you'll be there supporting.
You get a lot of support and a lot of love. You feel the love. It's an authentic community of like-minded people. So I thoroughly recommend it. The benefits have been immense.
I would 100% recommend it. You've absolutely nothing to lose. Try it for a month, absorb all the value, and then make a decision from there. It's an absolute no-brainer at that price.
I think it's brilliant value for money, if I'm totally honest. So if you're thinking about it, definitely have a look into it because it's great.
I would totally recommend that you do.
If you are sat on the fence, you've got to remember business is investment. What better investment is there?
So I see working with Matt as a huge investment in my future. I would highly recommend to anyone to do the same because you will not regret it.
Highly recommend this community. It's such a friendly group of people, and I knew I was in the right place when I joined this community.
I'd not actually watched that in a while, so that is fucking beautiful, isn't it? I'm just so grateful. We've got the best people, and yeah, thank you everybody for taking a moment to watch that. I hope it's just giving you some confidence in what we do, what we're about, the ethos, and we would love to welcome you over there. If we've got any questions about anything we've covered tonight, or any questions about the membership, if you're not sure, if you just want clarity, this is an opportunity to do a little bit of Q&A. Pop your questions in the chat and Nicola will jump through them with you. But we'd love to welcome you into the membership. Hopefully you've got the link if you need it. What I am going to do, just before we answer any questions, is we shall give you 2 more prize winners in just a second. So somebody's going to get a full hour with me. Somebody's going to get a ticket to the 2-day event, Business Mastery Live. That is a VIP level ticket, which is worth £600 plus VAT. Daniel Priestley is one of the speakers. It's going to be bloody amazing. Drum roll, please. We're going to do it again. Right, hang on. Let me share it so everyone can see. 2 more winners. Here we go. And thanks, everyone. I said it'd be 90 minutes plus. I appreciate this has been a long week and this is a long night. We're just a few more minutes away from buggering off to bed, I promise. All right, drum roll, please. Here we go. This is winning a full hour session with me, one-to-one strategy session. Good luck. Let's see who it is. Ta-da! Sarah Brown, have you gone? This is the question. Sarah, let us know in the chat if you are here, or just unmute and tell us you're here, whichever is quickest. We'll give you a few seconds just to let us know that you are definitely here live. If not, we go again. We could be here all bloody night now. People have left now. I've done my pitch. Like, oh, he's just selling to us. I'm bugger it. I don't want the prize anyway. I don't think Sarah's here. Sarah? Is Sarah here, Nicola? They've not put it in the chat, have they? Bollocks. Sorry, Sarah. If you're watching on replay, it's your own fault. Right, I did tell you. Rules are rules. Let's go again. Here we go. Drum roll, please. Just going to be Kaylee winning them all at this rate. Are you here? Let us know in the chat or an unmute.
Yeah, I'm here.
Woohoo! Congratulations, you've won. Just drop me a message, matt@successschoolgroup.co.uk, or drop us a message on social media, whatever. My email is matt@successschoolgroup.co.uk. Congratulations, you have won the 1 hour session with me.
Thanks.
I'll see you there. Thank you so much. All right, one last one. Who is coming to Business Mastery Live 2026? Drum roll, please. It's bloody John Hart! John, you've won worth £600 plus VAT. But is John Hart still here? Let us know, mate, if you're there in the chat or if you want to unmute. Are you there?
I'm here.
John, how are you feeling? You've won.
I'm ecstatic, mate.
Oh, amazing. Congratulations, you're in. Drop me a message. We'll sort you out. You've got a ticket to Business Mastery Live in 2026. Well done.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Congratulations. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Ah, we've come to the end. What an incredible experience. I really hope you've loved it. I hope you found it useful. Obviously, I frigging hope you've joined us in the membership if you can. And if so, this Sunday, we'll be doing our welcome session and we'll see you there. If you join now, though, you get immediate access to everything. Go sign in, join the Facebook group, join the WhatsApp group, check out the portal. It's all there waiting for you. Just before we finish, Nicola, have we got any questions, or are we all okay? Are we all good? And thank you so much, by the way, everybody who has joined tonight. Thank you. We really do appreciate you so much. Anything, Nicola?
There is nothing at all in the chat that I can see.
They're just saying, bugger off, we want to go to bed. Is that right? Well, I don't blame them. We'll leave it there. It has been an epic 4 days. I hope you're proud of yourself. I hope you found this valuable. What we always do when we finish these challenges is we take a moment to acknowledge how bloody amazing we all are. And in daft Matt Hall style, we of course finish with a little sing-along. And if you want to, this sounds horrendous every time, but it's bonkers and it's fun. You can unmute and you can sing along, because you are the champions. You've made it to the end. You accepted the challenge and you completed the challenge. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Well done. If you've joined Success School, we'll see you over there. If you want to have a sing along, we can. Let's go. We are the champions. You can get it. Tackles. Let everyone know how bonkers we are. You made it. We are all our chewy, all our tiny, brilliantly awful. Congratulations, good night, thank you so much. If you're in Success School, we'll see you over there. Thank you, well done, and we'll see you next time.
Soon.
Goodbye. Thank you. Well done, thank you so much. See you next time. Take care, everybody.